I was just tall enough to reach the handle on the top cupboard, but I was already 2 heads taller than the other kids. I must have been around 7 or 8. My classmates Lyoka and Yura and I would often wander around the outskirts of town, climb garages, trees near the highway, invent stupid games. I don't know where our parents were looking. Probably didn't care where we were or what we were doing. I remember Yura suggesting we explore a new place, a bit farther than usual. The chubby-faced friend was sitting on a fallen tree poking the dirt with a stick. Boring, Lyoka drawled. Let's go to the water pump, get a drink, I offered. Yura threw his stick aside and jumped up. I know. Let's go over there. He pointed somewhere into the field. There? What for? Lyoka grumbled. I think my mom said there's a spring out there. We could check it out, drink from it. The idea was sketchy, but we went anyway. The sun was hiding behind heavy clouds, the air was thick with heat. The field was bigger than it looked from afar. We walked along the path for about half an hour and were drenched in sweat. All I could think about was how thirsty I was. Shoo, Yura said. Do you hear that? I focused on the sounds. Somewhere nearby, water was splashing. It's the spring. Lyoka shouted. We ran off the trail into the bushes. Icy water filled my throat. We drank greedily, cupping the water in our hands. I washed my face and neck, the heat subsided. Then we heard a crash behind us, then another. The sky was torn apart by thunder. It's gonna pour, I said. Let's head back. We won't make it, Lyoka replied. I felt a heavy drop hit my t-shirt. Then another, on my head, then my arm. Rain came down in sheets. We ran back to the trail. The sky turned black. It looked like nighttime, even though it wasn't dinner time yet. Looks like this storm's gonna last, said a soaked Lyoka. But we're already wet, why rush? Yura raised his arms and did a little dance. I laughed, but the next thunderclap made my heart drop. Shouldn't we go home? Russ-Syed, 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 Lyoka started singing a silly song about me he made up. I'm not scared, I said. Just cold. They noticed a tree standing alone in the middle of the field. A broad oak maybe, or a linden, hard to tell from far away. They say lightning strikes the tallest thing, Yura said. Hear that, rustling? You better crouch down, Lyoka laughed. Lightning streaked across the sky. We were curious, would it hit that lone tree? The wind bent its crown to the ground. Mud stuck to our sandals and legs. Water poured off our hair and clothes. We counted the seconds between lightning and thunder. Whoa, I said. Did you hear that? That was close. I didn't even count to 7. You're too slow, Yura replied. I got to 9. 12 for me, Lyoka bragged. You've got to pause between numbers, I argued. Remember what Tatiana Vasilievna taught, put an N between numbers. So what? You were like N, that's why you got 6? Yura wrung out his shirt. Time to go, I reminded them. Another thunderclap. I looked at the tree again. Still untouched. I didn't know what we were expecting. It had stood there for decades, survived countless storms. Why would it suddenly explode for our entertainment? Then I saw it, a figure at the edge of the field. Just a dark motionless shape, looked like a person. I didn't think much, just noticed it. But then lightning flashed again, and I swear the figure moved, now it was closer. It had arms and legs, definitely human. But no one could leap like that, covering so much ground in a second. I watched it, waiting for the next move. The guys kept chatting, unaware. Thunder, and the dark spot jumped forward again. Now I could see, it was a woman. Long skirt, something in her hand, a stick, maybe. Guys, look. You see that old lady? I shouted. They ran over. So, watch, next lightning, I didn't even finish. A flash. She moved again. 30 steps closer. You could make out her pale face, the fold of her long dark skirt. A woman with a long pole in hand. How'd she move so fast? Ulrich asked, his voice squeaky. We stared, waiting for another clap. Boom, the figure appeared in the middle of the field. A hunched old woman, leaning on a staff. Thunder again, closer still. Rain flowed off our soaked clothes. Her mouth was open and twisted. Her eyes, no pupils. She's a ghost. Lyoka yelled, grabbing my shoulder hard. I didn't know where to go. My knees shook with fear. Mama. Yuru trembled. Thunder. Now she was close enough that we could see her terrifying features, a gaping black mouth, a wrinkled bluish face, pale eyes with no pupils, patches of grey hair on a bald scalp. She held a charred wooden stick. With every lightning strike, she came closer. Thunder. Run. I screamed. We bolted, racing all the way back to the city. Rain softened and thunder faded. I kept looking over my shoulder, afraid she was still after us. My heart pounded. I just wanted to get home. Flooded streets. Soaked shirt clinging to cold skin. Lights in our apartment windows. Lyoka and I said goodbye to Yura and walked down Twilight Street alone. My mom's gonna kill me, I sighed. Out in the rain all evening. If I get sick, she'll go nuts. Just say we were at Yura's, and you got caught in the rain on the way home, Lyoka offered. Don't mention the field or the old woman. That's what I did. Lucky Mom didn't check up on the story. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the day. It felt both terrifying and unreal. The rain eased. The storm passed. I fell asleep with the world. But for years, I was scared of thunderstorms. I'd run to my parents' room and climb into bed. Never played in the rain again. Every thunderclap made my heart skip a beat. Music. That same summer, we moved to another city because of Dad's job. New school, new friends, a whole new life, from scratch. In the chaos, the scary memories faded. Time passed. Teenage years came. I outgrew childish fears, forgot all nonsense, became a total skeptic, and stayed one for years. I grew, literally too. I'm 6 feet 3 inches, the guy who bumps his head on light fixtures. After school, I enrolled in a culinary academy. Yeah, Mom nearly lost her mind when I chose to be a chef. Did I know anything about it? Not really. I just loved delicious food and the aesthetics of fine dining. I didn't even know why I was drawn to it. But it excited me. I forgot old classmates and the town I came from. Made new friends at the academy. We were always experimenting, like beginner artists in the kitchen. That's where I met Vera, a lovely girl a couple of years younger. We met at the stairs, she ran into me and fell. I didn't even budge. I looked down at her tiny face and smiled. That's how we started getting closer. We'd walk in parks, hang out at cafes, marvel over tasty food. Vera's baking was divine. She'd feed me sweets, and I gained a few pounds, which was a shock, since I'd always been a skinny giant. Now my love handles peeked over my waistband. I didn't want the extra weight, so I started walking every evening. Sometimes alone, sometimes with Vera, with Faith. I'll fit in my jeans again. Silly joke. Of course, I meant her. Vera was average height, about 5 feet 3 inches, which made our walks awkward. She always looked up. I had to lean down to hear her soft voice. One day, rain caught us again. We were soaked. Vera splashed through puddles in sandals. I thought, I should really start carrying an umbrella. We wandered to the city's edge. Just a white riverside, green landscape, nothing to do in bad weather. Time to head back. The rain grew heavier. Thunder rumbled. I pulled Vera's hand. Let's wait under the trees. Maybe it'll let up, she said. We stood there, staring at the leaden clouds. I wasn't even thinking about that childhood memory. It was buried deep. But then, lightning. Thunder rolled, and suddenly, an eerie vision hit me like a dream dragged out of the past. Down by the river, a dark figure appeared, just like before. A shadow. Still. Against the river's edge. I stared, ignoring my girlfriend's voice. Another flash. The figure moved. It wasn't just anyone, that same hunched shape, long skirt, stick in hand. Madness. Vera fell silent. I squeezed her hand. My heart pounded. I could barely breathe. Another flash, louder thunder. The figure moved up the riverbank. I saw a blue-tinged face, twisted open mouth, wet grey hair. Did you see that? Vera asked. That old woman just moved. She was there, and now she's there. She pointed. You saw it, right? Why aren't you saying anything? Thunder. The old woman with the charred stick shifted again. Her face. That dead face full of pain and fear. A gaping black mouth. Pupilless eyes. Am I hallucinating? Vera whispered in horror. I snapped out of it. No. You're not. Run. We ran. I dragged her. Her sandals nearly flew off. She was terrified, probably more by my fear than the figure. We reached a busy street and collapsed onto a wet bench, catching our breath. Rain stopped, but the sky still groaned. My nerves shook. You were so scared, Vera said, placing a hand on my shoulder. We saw that woman, I replied. I've seen her before. When? As a kid. What was that? We were walking through the fields, my classmates and I. We saw her. It was storming. She moved after every thunderclap. And then? Nothing. We ran. That was it. She smiled, as if it was nothing. I thought it was a false memory. Kids imagine things. But now I know, it was real. Creepy, Vera whispered. Did something bad happen to you after? Not really. Then why be afraid? She smiled again. Maybe there was nothing to fear. I smirked too. Even if I didn't find it funny. Vera had a light soul, she bounced back from anything. I needed time. I didn't know how a grown man like me could suddenly be afraid of storms again. The next day, thunder boomed again. I closed the curtains, shut the world out. All I could think of was that old woman. Who was she? A ghost in old clothes with a burnt stick. As a child, I thought she was a spirit, a woman killed in a storm, carrying a scythe. Lightning struck the blade, and her. A cursed soul stuck on earth. Appearing in storms ever since. Maybe she was just suffering. Maybe there was nothing to fear. Next morning, rain again. I had calmed down, until I noticed Vera hadn't replied to a single message. I called, she didn't pick up. Anxiety set in. I thought I'd shower, brush my teeth, and go to her place. But just as I went to the bathroom, my phone rang. Finally. It wasn't her. It was her friend Christina. Hello. Ruslin, where's Vera? I can't reach her. My throat tightened. I threw on clothes and ran to Vera's. Christina showed up too. We went to her floor. Christina banged on the door. Vera. Are you home? Open up. Wait, I said, dialing her number. Music played faintly inside. Her phone's in there, I said with a shudder. That's not like her. Call the police, Christina said, pounding again. They arrived, hesitant to break in, no grounds, they said. But eventually they called a locksmith. Took 2 minutes. They told us to stay in the hallway, I couldn't. I followed. In Vera's room, the curtains billowed. Rain whipped through an open window. I didn't see her right away. She was on the floor by the coffee table. Vera. I rushed, but someone held me back. She's dead, the officer said. I saw it. Just didn't believe it. Half her face was burned raw. Her jaw twisted. Eyes wide and doll-like. I'm no expert, but it looked like electrocution. She's dead. The words echoed endlessly. The girl I loved, gone. And I never even told her. Preliminary cause, lightning strike. But I knew it wasn't. The old woman killed her. I shouted about it. No one listened. They thought it was grief talking. Dark days followed. I wandered aimlessly. Couldn't imagine a future. One evening, rain tapped on the window. Lightning flashed. My dark room lit up blue. I stood, opened the curtain. Rain flooded the courtyard. Thunder. The familiar shape appeared, far off, at the dumpsters. The shadow with the stick. She came for me. My heart trembled, but my mind was numb. I opened the window. Rainy air rushed in. Another lightning bolt. She was closer, at the parking lot. Her eyes seemed to glow with stormlight. Come on, take me, I whispered. Another flash, and she'd be here. I shut my eyes, bracing for the end. But the lightning stopped. The storm passed. Relief. The danger lifted the fog in my head. Maybe I hadn't lost the will to live after all. I had to get up, live, face each day. Vera wouldn't want me buried in despair. That year, I didn't see her again. The next summer was abnormally hot. No storms. But this June, rain again. The pain still lingers. I think of Vera every single day. I haven't met another girl. I don't know why I suddenly wanted to go back to my roots. It was spontaneous. I bought a train ticket and went to my hometown. Everything had changed, chain stores, cafes, smooth roads. I wandered the streets, looking for familiar faces. Then a bearded guy walked up. Ruslin, is that you? Damn, you've gotten tall. I stared at his face, trying to remember. Then it clicked. My childhood neighbor. Hey, Dima. Long time. Back for good? No, visiting family, looking for old classmates. Like a reunion? No, just curious. Gotcha. Good to see you, man. I stopped him. Hey, do you remember Lyoshka Karpov and Yura Mastakov? Yeah. I do. Where are they now? You don't know, he said heavily. They're buried. Cemetery. Not surprising. I kind of knew what he'd say. Lightning got them, Dima said darkly. When you moved away, that summer. Rainy, just like now. They always played in the fields. Lightning struck them both. Their burned bodies were found outside town. The whole place talked about it. Even made the paper. I had lived years without knowing. The old woman took them that year. I guess she missed me and searched for years. Then she found me. Now warm days are here again, but rain is coming. I don't know if I'll live through this summer.